nice place to live, everyone knows everybody. I've got children, so it's quite nice. It's like a nice community. Everyone looks out for each other. Everyone looks out for the children, etc. Yeah, no, I love living here. I do love living here. Probably be lower. I'm on one of the high ones, and I'm at the top. So with the 3 children, especially when my youngest is 4 at the moment, when she was a baby, that was quite difficult about the lifts. It's a bit old, there's a lot of work that needs doing on, if you know what I mean. They're sort of, I feel like they've had their shelf life now, I really do. I've got a lot of mould in the flat, there's always something that needs repairing, but I do, at the same token, I do love my flat and I do love living here. I'm actually looking forward to it happening, again, for selfish reasons, because I need the extra bedroom. So for me, obviously I'd get what I need, I've been told. So that I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm all for it. I really am, I'm all for it. I've got no sort of qualms. The only thing a lot of people are saying is obviously there'll be a lot more people, I suppose you've got to take that into consideration. But for me, looking at my circumstances, I sort of think you've got to roll the times. People do need properties. There are people out there that need housing, so it is what it is. And that's the way I sort of look at it. I've got a 16-year-old who's about to sit for her GCSEs, but she shared a bedroom with her brother who's 13, so obviously they're 2 opposite sex in the same room. Trying time to get them separated would be fantastic, and just make a massive difference in my household as it is, because they're at each other's throats at the moment with the age. I've got a 4-year-old in my bedroom, and just silly things, just, you know, having extra space indoors, having, you know, might have some nicer space around us as well. You don't know what they're going to do with the space on the close. I can imagine that'd be quite nice. Might be able to let them out, because I couldn't being on the top floor. In another year or so, I could think about, another couple of years, I could think about letting my little one out, but I can't, being on the top floor, and there's sort of nowhere immediately for her to go and play outside of my flat. But who knows, I could have that in the future, I don't, you know, so it's just exciting to see what it's going to be like, and obviously what I know that I could benefit from it as well. I do understand why some people are unsure, because obviously, you know, there are going to be a lot more people on here. Some people are looking for how sort of, Ham's known to be a very small, sort of tight-knit village, and everyone knows everybody, and that will change, and even that's a worry for me. But, you know, like I said, you just got to think about, you know, if you were in that situation, and there are people like that need homes, and it's just, that's why I try and look at it, obviously, because of the situation I'm in. You just got to accept it. But it's definitely going to benefit me and my family, having a bigger property. Hopefully it'll definitely benefit us having some outside space, some new outside space, secure outside space for the children. I just think it's a positive thing, hopefully, for other people in my situation, on the close. And, you know, the flats that need uplifting, they need, you know, looking around, and there's a lot of damp in flats. You know, I certainly have damp in my flat, and that's always obviously an issue. So, you know, just looking forward to things like that, really. Compared to now, one where I haven't got mould and I haven't got damp, I haven't got the wind looking like I've got a ghost behind my windows, because the window curtains just blow. The windows are so knackered. Having an extra bedroom, a lot more, not a lot more space. I've got space, but I need the extra bedroom. I hope it's quick. I hope it gets started quickly. I can almost vision myself in it already. I just want to be there. Does that make sense? That's what I want out of my time machine. I just want it to get started, and I want it to be. I know it's going to take a long time to sort of get it completed. But my time machine is just get on with it. Just get it started. That's what I want from my time machine. If I was to sort of say, right, let's do something, let's get in it, let's get it started, and let's get in sort of, you know, first lot up, let's get the process going, get people moving.
I was born in Ham, Randall Road in Ham. Always lived in Ham, always been a carer in Ham. Know everybody, very friendly. Ham's just a happy little village. I am looking forward to moving into a nice clean home I can call my home. I have seen the new buildings in Cave Road, the 1 bedroom and the 2 bedroom, which I thought was stunning, in a safe environment, all fenced off with security. That is my home way of living. That's how I'd like to live. I think they regret it. I think because the state of the properties here are not worth living in. People know it was temporary, and moving into a new home, a new street even, it will be, they'll enjoy it with a bit of garden. You know, Ham hasn't got nothing for the kids on the green. Health-wise, I think it would be better, not having to climb up and down stairs. Just hygiene. I just like hygiene and cleanliness. Moving into a new home, which I've never had. It's always been either a council property, which has always been needed help, doing gardening and knocking trees and that down, brick walls. It's always work, work, work. I'd welcome you into my new home. You can film me, do what you like. I just want security, safeness, and be happy and healthy. The sooner the better. The longer the waiting, it's knowing when, how long.
I've lived on Ham Close for just over 20 years. I love it here. I really do. We've got lovely people living here. You know, it's a lovely area. There's so much to do. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I would like a home that doesn't have damp and black mould and condensation and having to have a dehumidifier on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which isn't good for the environment or for my purse. I think it's because we're open to the elements. Our front doors are open to the elements. We're not, you know, covered in like the big square blocks. And also the construction of the flats, because it's concrete, but it's not been vibrated. So you get big pockets, big air pockets, and that's where the damp and the condensation starts. And they're generally not fit for purpose now. I can't wait. I think it's going to be wonderful. I know there's a lot of people, particularly people who don't live on the estate, who know it's going to be messy and noisy and inconvenient. But there's lots of issues on this estate that need rectifying. There's the elderly, there's the people with medical problems, and there's people with children who need lifts. You know, trying to get children up to flats and bump buggies up and stuff like that. And certainly, but I love having my balcony because I like growing all my plants out there. And I think most people are looking forward to having their little bit of garden. And I'm looking forward to it being all open plan. That, you know, and everything's all just been quite modern, and I'm 60 next year, so, you know, whatever time I have left, hopefully it's a little while, it'd be nice, you know, that I can start somewhere new and you know, everything's new and a nice little bit of garden and, you know, just everything, insulation, and because apparently some of the new flats now have got such good insulation that, you know, the heating bills are practically non-existent. So that would be nice. I think everybody's afraid of what they don't know. Like, I mean, at first I was like, oh my God, it's going to be upheaval, but as every year has progressed, the damp and the mould has got worse. So, you know, statistically, it's not going to get any better, and things like that just need to be addressed. And by the time, if they treat all the outside of the buildings, like one of the suggestions was cladding, which after Grenfell, well, that's not going to happen, is it? You know, it's got to be easy to just start afresh and do it properly, because after all, they're hopefully going to be here quite a long time. I don't think the wider community are very impressed. I don't think they have a good idea of how we live here, from the elderly to people with children, you know, to people that have medical conditions. Oh, I'd like to be able to say that it's warm, it's cosy, it's got everything I need. I had an accident 4 years ago when I fell down the communal stairs and really damaged my leg. I nearly lost my leg. And as I'm getting older, it's causing me more and more problems. So the fact that everything will be open plan and there'll be lifts and things will hopefully be so much easier will make my life easier in itself. One thing I would like to get from the regeneration is the ground floor flats. If we get a nice bit of funding, if we could have more ground floor flats for the elderly people, perhaps with a little bit of garden, because there's an awful lot of people in the outside area that are 1 and 2 people living in 3 and 4 bedroom houses. So they're over, you know, under occupied, and that's not fair, because we've got people on this estate that are living in bedsits and studios, and there's 2 adults and 2 children. I'm very happy that RHP are allowing us to stay on the estate. Watching it all take shape, I think, will be quite a good thing. I'm hoping that the fact that everything will be new and better insulated and open plan will just make everything nice and fresh and easy, and because I can honestly see perhaps in a few more years I might end up in a wheelchair. So, I mean, whereas I love living here now, I wouldn't be able to live here if I ended up in a wheelchair. And I really love living on Ham Close.
Oh, I love Ham Close. It's a really beautiful place to live, and we've got loads of green around here, the river's here, everything's fantastic. The only thing we've got problems with is insulation and mould. We've got black mould that grows everywhere, and we've had to tile in our living room. In our living room, we've had to tile some of the wall because the black mould is just coming through all the time. So we actually have to put like bath tiles on there to stop it coming through. Because we live on the top, there was a hole in one of the cupboard ceilings, and when I looked in there, the insulation was about this thick, which I know because I used to be a builder, it's like 20 years old or more. So there's no insulation. When winter comes, it's freezing cold. And the insulation, apart from the warmth and the cold, you can hear everybody in the flats. It's just, I mean, if someone drops a book somewhere, then you hear it, basically. But other than that, the neighbours are brilliant. Practically everyone around here is really nice people. The walls are made of wimpy cement, I think it's called, and they are rock hard. I mean, basically, if you try and drill into the wall here to put anything up, you just can't do it. It's just full of stones and everything, and that's one of the other problems with the mildew. And you know, RHP, to me, they're pretty good landlords. I was a tenant representative for a while. Well, I don't know why they're unsure. I mean, it has to be done, basically. You can't, these buildings just cannot be kept the way they are for the next whenever, 20 years, they just cannot be. There's so many people around here, especially in the studios, and honestly, some of the studios, it's just mould everywhere, and yeah, it's not good for your health. My vision of the future would be like I said, nice insulated houses, double glazing, the windows, not these ones. These ones you have to have 3 hands to open them up. Yeah, basically insulation, proper plumbing, proper everything so that it doesn't break down all the time, which it does. I mean, you see the RHP vans around here all the time having to fix something or other. And soundproof, basically, or more or less soundproof. That's basically it. I mean, I've seen the ones you built in Cave Road that you showed us, and they look lovely. And I'd like them to look good, obviously, and I'd like people to be happy in them, and have play areas for the kids around here, because they don't have many, because all you've got is this, you know, the lawn's outside. And most people I've talked to on Ham Estate, that's all they want. They want to stay here, they don't want to get moved out. And a lot of people not only live here, they work here in the area as well, like myself. So yeah, seamless as possible, quick as possible as well.